Hello, fabulous Aries. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of February 2016, Love Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. In the context of love, before I jump into this month, I do want to say that it is going to be next month that will be very imperative, very important where it comes to your experience in love. And this is largely thanks to eclipse season. March is eclipse season, and there will be an eclipse in your opposite sign. This is significant. This represents a change of course, a burst of honesty, and some real insight into the emotional well-being of what you have, what has been, and where now you are going. So I'll be here to talk about it then. There'll be lots to talk about next month. But for now, I wanted to put this month into context with that, because right now it does suggest a time that is, on the one hand, yes, there's this inspiration and motivation, really thanks to the new moon in the early part of the month. So there's no shortage of people around you. At the same time, we have got Mars in a part of the sky entering shadow now as part of Mars retrograde season, in a part of the sky that has to do with many things, among which, and especially in a love-related forecast, has to do with things like intimacy, which has to do with things like sharing on a deeper level and being vulnerable as well, and really coming to understand what it means to be aligned, closely aligned and merged with another person. Now, whether that's physically, financially, emotionally, or otherwise, it is about understanding that there is this unit that is another entity that is created when you are with that person that you love. So this becomes especially true for those who are in an established bond. If you're in an established bond, this very likely is going to begin to represent a time where this idea of bringing together resources is going to be heightened. The really important thing here to remember with this energy is that you want to amplify and strengthen the good. You want to consider what it is ultimately that's going to help to not only allow you to feel a greater sense of prosperity, your partner to feel a greater sense of prosperity, but also how it is that you can move forward into feeling a greater sense of connection and a greater sense of a shared future where there's genuine sharing involved. Now, where it is that maybe you've kind of, been saying, no, this is mine and that's yours and that's it. Now, there's an element to that that's just physical, and that's fine, you like your things. But then there's another element to that that has to do with truly letting someone in, letting someone change you deeply. On a very literal level, right? So one of the more like mundane ways that this energy can manifest is there might be some, ultimately, I think, temporary changes to your partner's financial situation. And this is going to mean that the two of you have to pay attention to money a little bit more. Pay attention to how you're spending your time a little bit more to ensure that, that you're building something together. And this could even be just a shared financial goal that you have. You might decide that you want to make a large purchase like a house. And so you're going to pool your money, bring it together, work extra hard, long hours, cut back on frills, so that you can actually create that savings that you might need. So these are the kind of shared goals that can happen on a very sort of mundane level, but on a more personal level, this has to do with really being there, soul and all, material things and resources and all for another person, but more importantly, allowing someone else to be there for you as well. So it is going to be issues around intimacy and what that means and reconfiguring that, bringing you that much closer to the person that you love. Those of you who are open to meeting someone new, or maybe just getting to know somebody, when you have Mars moving through this part of the sky, the superfluous is just not going to do. Now, here's what's really interesting is that you do have this new moon in the early part of the month. It's very social, okay? It's a new moon that speaks to being friendly and meeting people and getting along with others and having those connections play out. It has to do with expanding your sphere of influence, of connections. So there's a joyous, a social element to this, and that can necessarily welcome love in as well. But because of Mars moving through a part of the sky that has to do with what's real, what really matters, just superfluous, just fun in a romantic situation isn't really going to work very well for you now. So be mindful of that as you're out there meeting new people. It could also be, especially if you meet somebody new this month, it could be that something about them just intrigues you to the point of, you know, feeling very driven. I don't want to say, but you know, this part of the sky can sometimes have a little bit of an energy that can be a little obsessive. So you want to keep yourself in check, okay? If you find yourself going there, normally that's not about anybody else, that's about you, depending on where you've been, what energy experiences you're bringing to this exact moment, what that person is triggering or inspiring within you, whether they know it or not. I mean, this person might be oblivious, might not even realize, and yet you are having all these strong feelings from meeting this person. So pace yourself. It may be mutual, but regardless, what you are going for right now is to have something real. That part of you that wants to solve a mystery and dive in there and wonder and be all strategic, that will pass. That is not you. Aries tend to be a lot more direct than that. Like, you know it when you got it, you know it, and that's it. It's all good. And so you may surprise yourself by some of these feelings coming up, but ultimately this is about you seeing some things within yourself that you may need to acknowledge about your expectations about love, and also where you've been and where it is that you want to go. What I love about this month is it is about being honest with yourself in so many ways. This month has honesty written all over it, and especially being honest of where it is that you want to know somebody deeply and to be known by another. That is when love is a truly transformative force, and attraction is a transformative force, as is part of the lessons that start for you now and will only accelerate as we move further into the year.